BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
What's up, Tiger Nation? Welcome to another episode of Tiger Talk TV. I am the Corey C. You already know the routine. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single upcoming episode. You can find us on the Apple Podcast app, the Google Podcast app, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So be sure to follow the show and tell every Tiger that you know. And remember, when you support Tiger Talk TV, it all helps the cause, which is the I Love Jackson State University. We're continuing to get to know our Jackson State Lady Basketball Tigers, and today I'm joined by a special guest, Zoe Cooper. Welcome to Tiger Talk TV. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Did I get the name right? Because people call you Zoe and Zoe. I think it's Zoe. So how do you pronounce your name?
It's most definitely Zoe.
Zoe. Y'all got that? Stop calling her Zoe. All right. Zoe, we're glad to have you. How's everything going?
It's going great. We got
All
an
right.
off day, so it's even better.
No, no doubt. No doubt. Get that break. Nothing like that break before that stretch run, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we want to get to know you. The fans have fallen in love with this team, fallen in love with you. So we want to hear your story. But first, start us off with a fun fact. Give me something about Miss Zoe Cooper that the fans, I mean, we don't know much about you, but give us something that we definitely wouldn't know that may catch us off guard.
Ooh,
It can be funny, it could be embarrassing, it could be whatever.
let's
It
see.
can't be boring though. It's got to be something to make us say, wow.
Oh, to make y'all say wow. Oh, I used to play the clarinet when I was
Okay,
in middle school.
okay. Did you stop because basketball took over? Because you could do that. You could play in the band during football season and still play basketball. So you just let it go? What happened?
Yeah, I just gave it up. It wasn't really my specialty.
Okay,
Yeah.
you were
I
better at
wasn't that
basketball.
good at it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you said you played. You didn't say you were good. Okay, it's a difference.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a difference. All right, cool, cool. So tell us where you grew up and where you played high school ball.
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I went to Ramsey High School.
Okay. And just talk about basketball in your early days. How'd you get started? How'd you get into the game?
Honestly, I was not a basketball girl.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
the tallest in my class
Okay.
when I was younger. So, I had a coach in elementary school actually.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to my mom. He was my bus driver too.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled the bus in front of my house and told my mom like, "Hey, I think she should play basketball. I think you should get her started." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Because I was a girly girl.
Okay.
I wasn't into sports like that. I played softball, but like
Okay.
that was it, and I cheered. But once I started playing basketball, I was in the 4th grade. I fell in love with how competitive it was, and I've been playing ever since.
So he talked to your mom about it before he even mentioned it to you. He just pulled up and
Yes,
knocked on the door and started talking to your mom. And you sitting, were you listening to this conversation?
yes.
So I know you're
uh,
like, wait a minute, what?
I'm like, Mom, wait, I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't say that, but he know my mom ran the show, so he went straight to
Okay.
the source. Like, if she said it was okay and it was something that I wanted to try, she was fine with it. So.
Okay. And do you come from a family of athletes? Did she play basketball sports? Do you have any siblings that played?
Actually, everybody in my family. My mom wasn't a basketball woman,
Mm-hmm.
but she played softball, which is how I got started. I have uncles that played basketball in college. My brother played basketball. My dad played sports and he refs. So it's like it's a thing in my family, but it wasn't really the girls per se. It was more
Mm-hmm.
of the males in my family.
Mm-hmm. So you said you fell in love with it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Around what time did you realize, or around what age did you realize you were actually good at it though? And you may be able to go somewhere with it.
Um, Honestly, I didn't feel like I was really good at it. Other people would say I was like decent, but like I never felt good at it until maybe like the 10th grade. And I was like, okay, I might be able to take this serious and I might be able to actually get school paid for. So
Mm,
let me go ahead and lock in and get right. And then I started, then when I started seeing my progression, like I would look at myself in older videos and then look at myself, then I was like,
okay.
okay, I might actually be all right.
Okay. And did you play AAU ball as well growing up?
Absolutely.
Talk about that experience, the travels, and just what you learned and gained from those opportunities.
I actually jumped around AAU teams.
Mhm,
You know how that goes.
mhm,
I played on like 3 teams, I think. But just traveling like that's what I fell in love with too. Just how much the game exposed me to different things. Just being able to travel and see the world at a young age.
mm.
It's like, yeah, if I can do this now, I know when I get older, it'll be even better. I think I know I've been all over the South. I don't really like traveling up north. I'm not a cold
The
girl.
weather, yeah.
Yeah. But AU was fine. It got a lot of exposure for me.
Mhm,
And just networking and making a lot of connections.
mhm. And speaking of the exposure, talk about that recruitment, when it started, how it started, because you said you realized about 10th grade or so you may be able to get college paid for. So when you kind of see that coming into fruition, and what was that like with the recruitment?
I would definitely say my 11th grade year is when it really got serious with recruiting. I was getting a lot of JUCO looks though, and
Mm,
I wasn't fully aware of like the recruitment process and everything like that. So my family kind of really helped with that. But
mhm,
I knew for a fact like I didn't want my mom to have to pay for anything. Like I didn't
mhm,
want there to be any loopholes or anything like that. So I wasn't opposed to going JUCO, but I knew I had to work harder because I wanted to go D1 at least.
okay,
Um, so recruitment was fine. 11th grade, I would say like 12th grade year is when I got my first D1 offer, and I'm a COVID kid, so that made it even harder. Like
mhm,
being able to go visit or just have coaches come out because nobody was traveling at that
mhm,
time. So I had to work 10 times harder to get recruited. And my last coach at my previous school, she reached out about, I would say, May of my senior year and offered, and then I just committed from there.
and that was UNO, right? University of
Hmm.
New Orleans. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what made you decide to go there?
I'm a spiritual girl, so I prayed about it and I wrote everything down that I would want, like my criteria, my cutoff time for hours being away from home was six
Mm,
hours. New
okay.
Orleans
Wow.
was only like 5.5, so that
Wow.
was
Okay.
fine. I wanted to play for a black coach,
Okay.
and I wanted it to still be like in the South. I wanted to be a family environment. And it just kind of checked everything off. And
Yeah.
my coach was a very spiritual woman too, so I connected more with her on like that level versus just everything else surrounding the campus and things like that.
Wow. So well thought out, well planned out, and it checked every box. So definitely seems like it was the right fit. And you ultimately stayed there 4 years, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, obviously it was a great fit. So talk about those 4 years and some of the experiences there on and off the court.
Just being in the city of New Orleans was a great experience.
Hmm,
Their culture is very different.
hmm,
Being from Birmingham, nothing really happens
hmm,
there. But being in New Orleans, I saw a lot. I met a lot of people, celebrities.
hmm.
Just the hospitality and the environment there, and then the games out. They're not a basketball school, honestly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot of the fans
Mhm.
wouldn't come out, but the campus was very close knit. So I was able to like make an impact and just leave my mark in the city and on the school. Um, just make a name for myself, and I feel like that was just the most exciting and important part about it because I feel like I want to leave my mark wherever I go. So I knew being there for 4 years, I had to like give it all I had. Because I don't feel like anything happens by chance.
Mhm.
So just being there, it was a great experience overall. 10 out of 10. I definitely wanted to
Mm,
just get my degree.
mhm.
So that's what motivated me to get through those 4 years, honestly.
Wow. Describe the player that you became while you were there, and what areas did your game improve the most, and what did you see the most growth? Because you talked earlier about seeing yourself on film at an early age and comparing yourself, and you could tell how much better you had become. So, how did you grow in those 4 years?
Um, on the court, I would definitely say became more aggressive. Um, tougher. I was
Mm,
able to improve my shot. I was scared to shoot when I was
mm,
younger because like
mhm,
I didn't want to miss. But being there, I put up a lot more shots and I would say I'm a rebounding hound. Like that's where
mhm,
I
yeah.
became a knack for
Mhm,
the ball. Before the ball would just kind of come to me, but when I was there, like that's where I like, okay, you got to go get it, and this could be like who you are. Um, and I found my identity as a basketball player, like what I bring to the game. I'm not like all about points, all about scoring, the energy, the defense, the leadership, the communication, the things that don't typically show up on the stat sheet is what I was able to find being there those 4 years. And just like physically too, I was able to get stronger, put a couple pounds on and just
mm.
develop into a better post player.
Did you play the 4 at UNO or the 3?
Both. I
Okay.
didn't really start playing the three until like my senior year though.
Mhm,
'Cause like I said, I was scared to shoot. But once I started shooting the ball and like handling the rock more, it was like, okay, I can kind of stretch you a little bit.
mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Talk about playing the 4 and being undersized in a lot of matchups, especially on that level in that conference. I'm pretty sure you went up against some bigger forwards. So what was your mentality and how did you prepare yourself to go up against the bigger players? Obviously, you had probably had a quickness advantage, but on the defensive
hmm
end, trying to guard the bigger players, what was the mentality like?
I knew I had to be tougher. If I
Mhm,
can outlast you, and outwork you, then I'll be okay. Being undersized, a lot of times people think it's gonna be an easy challenge, like, oh, she's just gonna back down. No, I'm finna get up in you.
mhm,
So that was more of my mentality. Like I just gotta be the toughest on the floor. Like I'm going after every ball. I'm trying to block shots. I'm trying to tie you up. Like the stuff that people don't typically expect from undersized, because people automatically think quick.
mhm,
Yeah, I'm quick, but I'm tough too. Like I'm
mhm.
strong. So that was more of my mentality going into it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So it seems like you had a great time there. Obviously, a lot of success on the court. You started for much of your career there. So 4 years, you got your degree from there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So being that it was a 10 out of 10 and just a great experience, love the coach, why did you decide to leave?
Well, actually, my last year we got a new coach,
Okay. Okay.
and like they were switching up the dynamic of the team, so it was only gonna be a few of us left.
Mm,
And I wanted to be closer to home my last year too, so my family
mhm.
could be able to come to more of my games and just support. Cause New Orleans was close, but it wasn't close enough for everybody to be able to come out. So I wanted to just bring it back a little bit.
What was the hardest part about leaving?
My teammates, of
Hmm.
course, like the ones that were staying. I had built a bond with them. They were like family.
Mm,
We've been through so much together these 4 years. We spent so much time together. Leaving them was like the hardest thing to do, and just the city too. Like the people in the city that knew who I was or that I built connections with. That was the hardest thing. Like when I left, I'm going around telling everybody, like in the coffee shops and stuff like
mhm,
that, like, I'm gonna miss you guys and just keeping in touch with them. But
mhm.
other than that, I'm okay.
How did the Jackson State recruitment start? Because you had a mindset of wanting to be even closer to home. So that narrows down your options. I'm pretty sure options are kind of limited just with so many people, just with the way the transfer portal works. You can't be picky, right?
Right.
But for you to narrow that down and say, well, I have to be even closer than the 5.5 hours, that made it limited. So how did Jackson State come into the picture? Is that a school you were looking at or they reached out or how did that develop?
They reached out to me. They hit me up on Twitter and basically was saying like, "Hey, is your recruitment still open?" And it had gotten to a point in my recruitment process where I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna stay at home. Like I
Mm,
I don't even want to play basketball anymore. Like I'm good. I'm gonna stay at
mhm.
home and I'm just figure it out from there." And I was still praying about it, of course. And then they reached out. And I'm like, "Okay, this is perfect." Like,
Wow. Hmm.
you know.
Closer.
Um
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to just talk with coach and meet the other coaches. And once I talked with them and got to know her, it was like, okay, yeah. And I talked to my family about it, and they're like, okay, that's even
Perfect.
better.
Hmm.
So it just kind of all aligned at the right time. And when I came on my visit, it was even better, like seeing the city and the campus. Like, okay, yeah, like I like this. And then knowing like the history of Jackson State and just the fan base and everything like that.
Hmm.
I was like, this is the perfect fit.
Yeah, see, it all works out, right? All works
Hmm
out how it's supposed to work out. So I want to go back through. You gave us a lot there, so we want to break all that down and dissect it. So let's go back to you saying I may call it quits and stay at home. Was that
hmm
because you were getting discouraged because of the offers? You weren't getting any offers, or you weren't getting the ones close to home, or ones that fit the criteria that you needed, or were you just kind of burned out on the game at that point?
I wouldn't say I was burned out on a game. It was just like I gave it all I had. Well, I thought I gave it all I had, you know? And then I was also discouraged in the recruitment process as well. Like I was getting looks, but I'm not going 15 hours away from home like my last year, or it's not because obviously I didn't want to go down a level.
Hmm.
So it just wasn't meeting like what I felt like I was worth at the
Hmm.
time. So I was just like, if it's over with, then I gave it all I had, and I don't have any regrets. And then it was just like I can figure it out. You know, my family is very supportive of me. Um, so I didn't feel like if I stopped playing, like that'll be my end all be all.
Hmm. So you graduated in May, I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Coach Richards gets the job in May,
Mhm.
and obviously she has to hit the ground running and build a roster. About how long, if you can remember, about how long did it take for that for them to reach out to you? How long were you sitting there waiting after graduation?
I think it was around June-ish, early July, because I
Ooh.
remember I think we were on the phone and I think we had to report like July 20th or something like that.
Mhm.
And from the day that she called me, I had 2 weeks
Okay.
to move
Wow.
in on campus.
Okay. But between that time, between the call and moving in, you said you went on a visit?
Hmm.
Okay. Give us a little bit more about that. You kind of touched on what you saw, but expound on it a little bit more. And also, was that your first time coming to Jackson from Birmingham? So you had to come through at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would come through, but I wouldn't like stop.
Mm,
You know, Jackson, Mississippi was not on my bucket list of
mm,
things to do, but
mm,
I don't regret the decision at all. Just coming down, the drive wasn't that bad at all. That was the biggest thing for my family. Like, oh, this is perfect. Like, I'm not even tired. I could go a little longer. And then getting on campus and just meeting the coaches and seeing like the court and how inviting the staff was, and even the people on campus, and just riding through campus and hearing the history of everything that's been going on. It just drew me to the city even more. Because I felt the family presence like on campus, and I'm a big
mm,
family girl, so that meant a lot to me.
mhm. Obviously, Birmingham is a big historical city. So, what was it about just the history? Was it the history of Jackson, the school, the athletics, or what was it? Was it anything particular when you say the history?
I would definitely say athletics, just
Okay.
knowing like the previous teams and everything that they've done, and I obviously want to be a part of that culture, start your own, our
Hmm.
own winning culture here,
Hmm.
just to be a part of that legacy.
Okay. All right. So you like the city, you like the proximity and everything. Now it's coming down to actually liking the coaches and buying into what their plan, their vision, how they can use you, and just the direction that they're taking the program. So talk about meeting Coach Richards for the first time and share what you can about the conversations and what made you feel like she was the person you wanted to play for.
Well, the first time I actually met her, she was in Birmingham,
Okay.
recruiting, and she called me and was like, "Hey, like, I'm in town. I would love to meet up with you." So automatically, I'm like, "You thought about me? Like,
Mm,
you in my city, you thought about me?"
mm,
So
of course.
that drew me to her even more. And then, just talking to her, she's a ball of energy. Like the
Hmm.
conversation never died, and I just felt comfortable with her. Like she felt like a second mom, like a home away from home. And she was just saying, her vision, her plan, everything that she's been through. Um, and she just kind of won my heart over talking to her in person, because I felt like we could relate on a lot of topics, and just knowing like where I would fit in, how she would use me. Mind you, we had just talked on the phone like maybe 2 days before. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna use you in the press,"
Mm,
and next, I'm like, I didn't even say, I was coming, but just her
yeah.
energy and her presence is what made drew me to her.
Wow, and it's funny as you're saying that, like how she's gonna use you or how she talked about use you in the press and stuff like that. I'm actually envisioning that. I'm seeing it as you're speaking it. So she did exactly what she said. She did
Mhm.
exactly what she said. Wow. Take us behind the curtain a little bit of this team coming together. You said you didn't get there until July, so you're just a few months away from basketball being played, and we're talking about a new staff, a new system, completely new team, no returning player from the previous team. That is unprecedented. So talk
Yeah.
about getting to know everyone and learning the system and trying to gel in such a short amount of time.
It was definitely easier than I thought it was gonna be. Like it was easy, but it was hard at the same time because we gelled so quickly, like our personalities off the court. were great with each other when we first met, and then getting on the court and just building that chemistry with each other, like that was the hardest part.
Mm.
Obviously, like the preseason, we see like with our record that we were just trying to figure some things out and just work out the kinks. So I can't describe it, but it was easy because like everybody was kind of on the same page. But it was
Mhm.
hard just because we couldn't figure it out just yet to win games at that point.
Mhm. And talking about that pre-conference schedule, you mentioned it. Obviously, it was tough. Coming from UNO, though, you were used to playing mid-majors and probably, I'm sure, Power Four teams as well. So, how challenging was that non-conference schedule for you mentally and physically, especially being on the road so much? Because I know that was something you probably weren't used to.
Yeah, I would definitely say the hardest part was being on the road a lot. I've traveled in my
Mhm.
4 years, but I've never traveled 14 games away straight and no
Mhm.
home games at all. So that was a big challenge. Like living out of my suitcase was a big challenge for me. And just the toll that it takes on your body traveling that much. But as far as the teams, I think it was a great schedule. I think it was set up for us to win how we are now.
Mhm.
Just teams that will like build your confidence, but also like expose your weaknesses. Um, I would say it was a decent schedule. Like, yeah, it was decent.
Mhm. Now, you talked about everybody coming together. For the most part, that was relatively easy. Of course, some challenges on the road for that non-conference schedule. But other than that, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced so far coming to Jackson State?
Um, Honestly, I cannot think of any, and that's
That's a good thing.
crazy. Yeah.
That's a good thing. Okay. That's a good thing. Talk a little bit more about your role on the team and what Coach Richards expects from you. We know about using you in the press, but other than that, what else?
Yeah. Just being a leader, a communicator to my teammates. I'm the oldest on the team, so
Okay.
a lot of the time she refers to me as the grandma or everybody calls me the auntie.
Mm,
Just making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Being an example, working as hard as I can. That's what I try to pride myself on, like working hard. That way I don't really have to tell you so much. I can lead by example. And just making sure I bring that consistent energy for the team every single day. And then, of course, like in the game, just getting on the glass, doing what I can, blocking shots, just flying around, just bringing that ball of energy and I guess being the glue, like the balance for everybody.
What's the thing that Coach Richards probably gets on you the most about? The things that she wants to see more of from you, especially to get this team to where it wants to be.
Driving to the basket.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Um, every time like I shoot or anything like that, if it doesn't go in, get to the basket, get to
Mhm.
the rim. She has ultimate confidence in me being able to get to the rim at will, doing whatever I want, like in the high post area. That is one thing for sure that she would want me to pride myself on.
Wow. And I can actually see it. Again, as you're talking, I'm visualizing this. I can see you taking that shot, and I'm always looking at her because she's so animated on the sidelines. I just see her
Yes.
just not losing it, but just like, man, come on. Man,
Yeah.
we
We don't need that.
uh-huh. Yep, that's her. That's her.
Yes.
What's been
Most
your favorite thing about being at Jackson State?
I would say the fans.
Okay.
Just the environment, like not just our games, but like football and everything like that. Because UNO didn't have a football team.
Right.
So just being able to experience that environment was one of the best things about it because I'm a sports girl. So
Okay.
seeing everything live in action, I was like, yeah, I love this.
Hmm. And then the biggest surprise about Jackson or Jackson State, something that you weren't expecting. It can be good or bad. The thing that surprised you the most.
Surprised me the most.
Or was everything pretty much what you expected?
I would say it's what I expected. It was just how quickly like people pick up on who you are. I
Okay.
think that's what surprised me the most. Like I'm just thinking I'm about to skate through and just play basketball and not really say much or be seen much. But people actually like know who I am and I'm like, oh, like this is a big deal.
Wow. So the fans,
Yeah.
right? So you mean when you're on
Yeah.
campus or even when you step outside of campus?
Outside of campus or like even on campus, like people will see us in the store and they're like, "Oh, like you play basketball, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, how you know?
That's too funny. That's too funny. All right, man. We enjoying this. We're enjoying getting to know you. That's why we bring you on Tiger Talk. This is what the fans want. This is what the fans want. Now we want to know a little bit more about this coaching staff as well. They're not active enough for me on social media. Like I want to see their personality. Come on, Coach Richards. Give me something. Give me something on social media. Come on, Coach Holt. Come on now. Tell us something you like about each coach on the staff or something that they've taught you. Either one.
um, I'll go something that I like. Let's see. I'm gonna start with Coach Howard. I just like how supportive he is. He doesn't really say much,
No.
honestly,
Mhm.
but he'll always like put a bug in my ear or just tell me to like play with confidence or anything like that. Or if I'm down on myself, he'll shoot a text and I'm like, I didn't even think he was paying attention, like because he don't really say anything, but he watches and he'll just uplift in the moments that you need him. Coach Pat, that's my guy. That's
Yeah.
my go-to.
Okay.
That's my go-to guy. He feeds ultimate confidence into me, or even if I just want to go talk and have a conversation, that's my go-to. Like if I had to put it in simpler terms, I would say that's my dog.
Mm,
Um, Coach Holt, she just example.
mm,
Just being seeing myself in her, or being, that leader and wisdom that I need. Cause me and her actually played against each other when I was a freshman in college.
what?
So, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so just having her and just being able to relate with her is one of the best things that she brings, and just her personality. She doesn't say anything either, so people really don't know that our
Mm,
coaching staff has a personality, but they really do.
okay.
She's a gem. She's funny. She's easy to talk to. It just all around love her. Coach K,
Did
that's
did
my
did did
girl.
you did you beat her? Did y'all beat Grambling?
I
I'm just being messy. Don't worry about it.
actually, I think we went 1-1. Like she
Oh,
might have
y'all played it
beat me.
twice. Okay.
Yeah, she might have beat me my freshman year, and then we played them again my sophomore year, and we beat them.
Okay. Y'all got to go 1-on-1 for the tiebreaker.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Coach Ho still got it, though. She
Yeah,
still
yeah, she
got it,
does.
so
She
I ain't,
does.
I ain't
I
gonna
talked
lie.
to her about it. I talked to her about it recently,
Yeah,
hooping. And she was on Instagram when she went to Grambling. She had to get out on that court. I saw her on Instagram
yeah.
shooting. So, but yeah, go ahead, Coach K.
That's my girl.
Mm,
Cool, chill, funny, can talk to her about anything. Love her to death. She take care of all my needs. If I need anything, I'm
mm-hmm.
gonna go to her.
Yeah.
And just Coach Richards, like she one of the best coaches I played for.
Mm-hmm.
She might be animated and loud, but I would play my hardest for her. Like
Mm,
I feel like I owe her the most because she took a chance on me and she pours into me constantly. She's a woman of wisdom. She's always gonna tell me the truth, never
mm,
gonna lie to me. And she just take care of us. Like she treats us as if we're her own. And I
mm.
couldn't ask for anything better.
Wow. All right. Awesome. Eligibility. I would imagine this is it. This is your last go round. I know you said COVID, but
Absolutely.
you didn't. This is okay. This is the last one. All right. All right.
hmm
And then what did you? Obviously, you graduated. What did you get your degree in, and what are you studying now?
My degree was in biology. Um, because I want to go into chiropractics. But right now, I'm just kind of like taking courses until I go to chiropractic school. So I'm taking
Okay.
courses just so I can finish up this last year eligibility.
Okay. All right. And then your social media. Let the fans know where they can find you on Instagram and or Twitter. X.
Um, yeah, X. My social media is Zoe Janelle is on the screen on Instagram, and I think my Twitter is the same thing, just without the E behind Zoe.
Okay. See, that's you're the reason why everybody's confused because you didn't put the E behind Zoe, so they see ZO. So it's your fault.
Well, I don't really be on Twitter like that, so when I made it, it was just like whatever.
So I figured it out. So the people who follow you on Twitter, they call you Zoe, and the people who follow you on Instagram, they call you Zoe because of the spelling. So we
No,
figured
they
it out.
they call me Zoe regardless.
Okay,
They call me
I
Zoe
got you.
regardless.
I got you. All right. And then last thing before we let you go, talk to these fans. They're watching. They've been waiting to hear from you. What do you want to say to the fans?
Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We're still going, so stay tuned. Keep showing up. We love you guys, and we can't wait for y'all to come out for this championship we're about to win.
All right. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Ken Clark and KC 1400. I know you're an ambassador, so just talk about that pretty much when you got there, I want to say you may have had an NIL deal already waiting for you or in the work. So how special was that? What did that mean to you? Was this your first NIL deal and things like that?
Shout out to Ken. Love him.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. He said he wanted to do something different, and I appreciate him for picking me as one of the ambassadors, of course. It wasn't my first NIL deal, but it was more special because like coming to a new environment, you trying to make a name for yourself. So to have somebody willing to take a chance on you already, it was near and dear to my heart. So I just thank him.
All right, there you have it. All right, Zoe with the E, Zoe Cooper.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We wish you the best for the rest of the season and for the rest of your life. We're going to be a chiropractor, so we wish you much, much success after basketball.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right. Take care.
You too.
All right.
Tiger Talk TV is presented by Bet Online.